So today I have a Yardworks. It's a 40 volt snow thrower, and what happens is when you pull the lever down, when you're holding the button, it'll start up but then it shuts off as soon as you let go of the button. So I'm going to take this apart and we'll fix it. So there's 4 screws on the back we have to pull out. So you'll see there's 4 screws here. The 2 longer screws, of course, are for the where it goes through the metal handle part. So that's why they're longer. So what's happening here is when this is lifting up from this bar, what it does is it's holding onto this metal bar here, and as you pull this up, it pulls this up as well. And what happens is this here piece bends a little bit. I've already straightened this one a little bit. It was bent out this way a little bit. So it's at an angle like that. So I've already bent it in a little bit so that it hooks on here better. So what happens is it gets bent and then it slides off and pops off. So you just have to put a little bit of a bend in there to make sure that it's stays engaged. So what you have to do is take a pair of pliers, get it on there, and just bend that over a little bit. You don't want too much of a hook, just enough so that it catches that. A little bit more than 90 degrees is probably good. 91 degrees we'll say exactly. So when we put this together, we need to make sure the spring is back there. Oops. This little rivet piece goes in there to hold that. And then when you're putting the cover on, you have to fold this over. Okay, so now you just have to put the screws on. I'm going to flip this over again so you can see what I'm doing. So what I've done is I've put a clamp on there just to hold it together so that I have both my hands free. You don't need a clamp if you've got someone to help you or you're a little bit more ambidextrous. So we've got the 2 screws. Remember, the long screws go in the back here where the rail is. And whenever you're threading screws back into plastic, always turn them backwards, counterclockwise, till you hear a click. When you hear a click, what that means is that screw is going back into the same threads. So you're not cutting new threads, because if you cut new threads, you're good for maybe 2 times, and then that screw will fall out. If you do it this way, that screw will go back into the same hole, into the same cut threads, and it'll last longer. I'll push down a little bit and see if you can hear that click. Hear that click? That way you know that it's at the start of the old threads. If you get nothing else from this video, that one tip will save you a lot. Okay, let's power it up and see if it works. So needless to say, whenever you're working on anything that's powered by battery, always take the battery out. Batteries in. There we go. So what usually happens is, at least in this case, the button, the snow thrower was left outside, and that button had snow get in around the cracks and ice, and it all melted and then got jammed in there. And then when somebody pulled really hard on the handle, they probably stretched that and bent that metal bracket over a bit. So that's it.